Hello, this is Mr. White. We're on Chapter 16, and this is Lesson 6, Small Solar System Objects. My Planet Diary. Posted by Haley. Location, Constantia, New York. During the summer, my dad and I go outside when it gets dark. We like to go stargazing. I have even seen shooting stars. Shooting stars are very hard to spot. You have to stare at the sky, and sometimes you will see one shoot by. They only stick around for one split second, but it's really amazing to see one. This is my favorite thing to do when it gets dark during the summer. How do scientists classify small objects in the solar system? The solar system contains many small objects that, like planets, orbit the sun. Scientists classify these objects based on their sizes, shapes, compositions, and orbits. The major categories include dwarf planets, comets, asteroids, and meteoroids. Areas of the solar system. Most of the small objects in the solar system are found in three areas: the asteroid belt, the Kuiper belt, and the Oort cloud. The asteroid belt is a region in the solar system between Mars and Jupiter. Beyond Neptune's orbit is a region called the Kuiper belt, which extends about 100 times Earth's distance from the Sun. Beyond the Kuiper belt is the Oort cloud. It stretches out more than 1,000 times the distance between the Sun and Neptune. Figure 1 shows these areas. Dwarf planets. What happened to Pluto? You may have found yourself asking this question as you've learned about the solar system. For many years, Pluto was considered a planet. But then scientists discovered other objects that were at least Pluto's size. Some were even further away than Pluto. Scientists began debating how to define a planet. Defining a dwarf planet. In 2006, astronomers developed a new category of objects called dwarf planets. These objects orbit the Sun and have enough gravity to pull themselves into spheres, but they have other objects in the area of their orbits. As of 2009, scientists have identified 5 dwarf planets: Pluto, Eris, Makemake, Haumea, and Ceres. Eris is believed to be the largest dwarf planet so far. There are at least a dozen more objects that may turn out to be dwarf planets once scientists are able to study them. Like planets, dwarf planets can have moons. Pluto has 3 moons: Charon, Nix, and Hydra. Haumea also has 2, and Eris has 1. Kuiper belt objects. All the known dwarf planets, except Ceres, orbit beyond Neptune. Ceres orbits in the asteroid belt. A dwarf planet that orbits beyond Neptune is also called a Plutoid. Most Plutoids orbit the Sun in the Kuiper belt, though Eris may be beyond it. The Kuiper belt also includes many other objects that are too small to be considered dwarf planets. Comets. A comet is one of the most dramatic objects you can see in the night sky. On a dark night, you can see its fuzzy white head and long streaming tails. Comets are loose collections of ice, dust, and small rocky particles, whose orbits can be very long, narrow ellipses. Some comets have smaller orbits that bring them near Earth regularly. Most comets originate in the Oort cloud. A comet's head. When a comet gets close to the Sun, the energy in sunlight turns the ice into gas, releasing gas and dust. Clouds of gas and dust form a fuzzy outer layer called a coma. Figure 3 shows the coma in the nucleus in the solid inner core of a comet. The nucleus is usually only a few kilometers across. A comet's tail. As a comet approaches the Sun, it heats up and starts to glow. Some of its gas and dust stream outward, forming a tail. Most comets have 2 tails, a gas tail and a dust tail. The gas tail points away from the Sun, and the dust tail points toward the path the comet has taken. A comet's tail can be more than 100 million kilometers long, and from Earth appears to stretch across most of the sky. The material is stretched out very thinly, however. Asteroids. Hundreds of small, irregular, rocky objects orbit the Sun. These asteroids are rocky objects, most of which are too small and too numerous to be considered planets or dwarf planets. Astronomers have discovered more than 100,000 asteroids, and they are constantly finding more. Small bodies. Most asteroids are small, less than a kilometer in diameter. Only Ceres, Pallas, Vesta, and Hygiea are more than 300 kilometers across. Ceres is both a dwarf planet and the largest asteroid. Most asteroids are not spherical. Scientists hypothesize that asteroids are leftover pieces of the early solar system that never came together to form a planet. Asteroid orbits. Most asteroids orbit the Sun in the asteroid belt. Some, however, have very elliptical orbits that bring them closer to the Sun than Earth's orbit. Someday, an asteroid will hit Earth. One or more large asteroids did hit Earth about 65 million years ago, filling the atmosphere with dust and smoke and blocking out sunlight around the world. Scientists hypothesize that many species of organisms, including the dinosaurs, became extinct as a result. Meteoroids. Chunks of rock or dust smaller than asteroids are called meteoroids. Meteoroids are generally less than 10 meters across. Some meteoroids form when asteroids collide. Others form when comets break up, creating dust clouds. Meteors and meteorites. When a meteoroid enters Earth's atmosphere, friction with the air creates heat and produces a streak of light. This streak is a meteor. People often call meteors shooting stars, but they're not stars. Most meteors come from tiny bits of rock or dust that burn up completely. But some large meteoroids do not burn up. Meteoroids that pass through the atmosphere and are found on Earth's surface are called meteorites. Meteorite impacts can leave craters, such as the one shown in Figure 4. Meteor showers. Meteor showers occur when Earth passes through an area with many meteoroids. Some of these groups of meteoroids are bits of comets that broke up. These meteor showers occur every year as Earth passes through the same areas. Meteor showers are often named for the constellation from which they appear to come. The Perseids, the Geminids, and the Orionids are examples of meteor showers.